the Pell report, in order to provide a more complete picture of the recycling program, I respectfully submit the following input, which I strongly feel needs to be taken into consideration by council before taking measures to improve or change the program. The report does not take into account $2,645,489 in grants received for the recycling equipment. This figure represents both income and equipment, which is still used today. If not for the grants, Exeter would still be paying on the buildings and the equipment. Please take into consideration that 5 years financial review report would not incorporate the costs saved, since most was received prior to 5 years ago. However, depreciation should be evaluated to be fair. Grant summary is on page 1. The recommendation of single stream recycling will reduce the recycling revenue by $10,000 annually, and that's on page 2. The recommendations to eliminate the multi-municipal recycling program will reduce the revenue by $35,421, and $62,593 is our current revenue. If Exeter was to recycle alone, they would generate $27,172, which would leave the other towns that bring revenue of $35,421. 7.6% of Exeter's time is spent working in other towns, but 57% of the revenue is generated from these towns. And you can see the attachments, page 3, 4, and 5, that describe all of that. Other towns' revenue help offset Exeter's recycling labor and costs. Equipment funded through DEP recycling grants and listed in the multi-municipal will need to be refunded or returned to DEP, as explained by Barrett. The recommendation to hire our garbage hauler to collect our recyclables would cost Exeter an additional $155,600 a year. The collection would be single stream and would reduce Exeter's revenue by $10,000 a year. The collection for single stream and yard waste would be only once every 2 weeks, not every week as we currently collect. And that's on page 6. The yard waste collection would be April 1 to December 1 and would not include Christmas trees. I did send that page 6 to everybody on December 11th. That was something that I had asked about that then. Any questions?
Yes. One question for each of you. We were down a compactor from whoever, what's the name of the company that's taking our waste now, or recycling?
Northeast Cartage is our.
Whatever happened with that, that would save us a lot of money by eliminating about 70% of our trips to recycling.
We figured about $10,000 it would save us.
At least, right? I understand they hold up those electricity over there.
I think that would be an expense that we would incur, about $3,000.
A friend of mine asked me about taking a trench over with a ditch witch and use the power from the building. Is that possible, Vince, or you don't know?
According to what I learned in the past, it's supposed to be a 3-stage.
Yeah, it has to come from the
We
street.
don't have that.
We don't have
Should
that?
Mr. Remus know that?
I don't know.
As the code?
Well, I don't know
Well,
what's
the
in
building didn't supply 3-stage.
three-phase.
3-phase.
Yeah.
Either building doesn't have 3 phase in it? Instead of putting a whole new
They
service
were
in it.
talking possibly pulling the power from right directly from one of the poles down the street. I don't know.
But if they did that, okay, I'll talk to you later about that. And fast question, are we allowed to charge a yard waste fee on recycling per container or something? Reason I'm
I
asking
think
is-
that's up to the borough. I don't believe that would influence anything to do with the grants.
The reason I'm asking you, if you notice, all the figures show that on Mondays, we're better than break even, we're making a profit on this and paying expenses. Our bigger expenses on Thursday, where we have a couple sections in town that have an enormous amount of yard waste. And one of my suggestions was maybe we should charge per bag or per container with stickers. Okay, I just want to know if
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Outside if we had those sales. I do have one comment before I
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say that Exeter really is the best recycling program in the Northeast, not just Luzerne County. It's kind of the gem, and I feel protective of it because it really is the best recycling program, and I hate to see it backslide on my watch.
Show us the money.
Over $2 million. I give congratulations to Karen. Wasn't for Karen.
Thank you.
Okay. Sir, you don't have to stay if you don't want to. Okay.
Oh, yeah.